The air crackled, the portal shimmered, then vanished. It was gone. Ryan, Maya, Jake, and Chloe stared at the empty clearing. Just moments ago, a swirling vortex of energy had stood before them. Now, only silence. They were breathless, their hearts pounding in their chests. A shared fear bound them. What just happened? Chloe's voice trembled, barely a whisper. Ryan, ever the pragmatist, pointed to the ground. It was here, right here. The earth where the portal had stood was scorched, the grass reduced to ash, a tangible sign of the impossible. The silence stretched, filled only with the rustling of leaves and their ragged breaths. They were alone, lost in a mystery that chilled them to the bone. "We need to figure this out," Jake finally said, his voice strained. He kicked at a stray twig, frustration bubbling up. Maya, her eyes darting around the clearing, shivered. But what was it? And where did it go? No one had an answer. The woods held their breath, the trees silent witnesses to their growing unease. They found the book at the edge of the clearing. Half buried in the earth, its leather cover was old, ancient. Strange symbols adorned its surface, pulsing with a faint, eerie glow. A sense of foreboding washed over them as Ryan carefully brushed away the dirt. "What is it?" Chloe asked, her voice small. They huddled closer, their breath misting in the cool air. The book emitted a low hum as Ryan opened it. The pages were filled with spidery writing, the language unknown. But as their eyes scanned the text, the symbols began to glow brighter. Suddenly, the words shifted, rearranging themselves into English. A chill ran down their spines. This was no ordinary book. It spoke of a prophecy, a dark prophecy. They were the chosen ones, marked by fate. The words swam before them, painting a terrifying picture. The return of the cursed king. A world plunged into darkness. Ryan closed the book with a snap, his breath catching in his throat. "This is insane," he whispered, his voice hoarse. But deep down, a terrifying certainty began to dawn. This was their reality now. A reality where ancient prophecies intertwined with their lives. The nightmares began that night. Vivid, terrifying dreams plagued them. Images of a shadowy figure, its eyes burning with malevolent fire. Each awoke with a gasp, bathed in cold sweat. But something was different. A strange mark marred Ryan's arm. A black, intricate symbol, like a brand. It pulsed with a faint heat, a constant reminder of the nightmare. It wasn't just a dream, it was real. "Look!" Chloe cried out, pointing at Maya's neck. A similar mark, a swirling vortex of darkness, was etched upon her skin. Panic swelled in their chests. The prophecy was coming true, marking them as its own. The curse had begun. Strange things began to happen around them. Objects moved on their own, shadows danced in the corner of their eyes. Whispers followed them, chilling whispers that sent shivers down their spines. Their once ordinary world had become a place of dread and uncertainty. They were trapped, ensnared in a web of fear they couldn't escape. Time was slipping away. The blood moon hung heavy in the sky, casting an eerie red glow over the town. It was a harbinger, a celestial countdown. The ancient book had been very clear. They had until the blood moon to find the portal, to step back into the unknown, to face their destiny. "We have to go back," Ryan said, his voice firm despite the tremor in his hands. "It's our only chance." They gathered what few weapons they could find. Baseball bats, a rusty old sword from Jake's attic, Chloe's grandfather's hunting knife. Meager defenses against an ancient evil. But they were all they had. Fear hung heavy in the air, a palpable weight on their chests. But beneath the fear, a new resolve burned. They had to do this. For themselves, for the world. This was their fight now. As the blood moon climbed higher, bathing the clearing in its crimson light, they stood hand in hand. A circle of defiance against the encroaching darkness, ready to face whatever lay beyond. The air shimmered. The portal opened once more, a gaping maw of swirling energy. This time, they didn't hesitate. With a shared breath, they stepped through. The world dissolved around them. They landed hard, the ground cold and unforgiving. Gone was the familiar clearing. In its place was a desolate wasteland. The air was thick with the stench of decay, the sky a bruised purple. Twisted trees clawed at the sky, their branches gnarled and bare. This was the heart of the curse, the domain of the cursed king. Creatures stirred in the shadows, their eyes glowing with malevolent hunger. Grotesque mockeries of wolves, their fangs bared in silent snarls. They were surrounded, trapped, but there was no time to fear. They had come too far.